Boston. Jordan. Oh, a spectacular move by Michael Jordan.
Pushing 5 to play in the third. Kobe. Crawford. Hogan. Oh. Bring it on, Kobe, baby.
You are now tuned into the chat room. Your favorite baller's favorite podcast.
All right, welcome back to the Chatroom Podcast. I am the Senator, and with me today, I got Coach Francis.
What it do?
And I got Essay in the building.
Yes, sir.
And on this episode, we brought in a special guest.
Hi, I'm Adika Peter-McNeilly. I play kind of a shooting guard, point guard. Played my fourth year as a professional athlete. I played for the Edmonton Stingers this past year in the CEBL. I played 2 years in Germany, and this past year, before COVID hit, I was in France.
That's dope. That's dope. That's dope.
Champ.
Yes, sir.
Oh, you're a champion. Yo, wear that championship proud, man.
Champ, man.
For sure. I have that put on right now.
I see it.
Go.
Have to represent.
Out there hooping with my boy Matthew Campbell.
Oh yeah.
Oh, the Campbell.
Underrated right there.
Yeah, yes, sir.
All right. So let's jump into first question. So far, there's been a lot of good games in the NBA playoffs. I know everyone's been watching the playoffs. Our group chat's been going crazy every night. It's just been one of those ones. But what has been the biggest surprise for you guys, and what has upset you guys throughout the whole NBA playoffs so far?
Biggest surprise. Probably that Bucks series, man. Like, I didn't think they were gonna get blown up, like run off the court like that. 4-1. I mean, I didn't see that happening.
I called it.
Yeah, you did.
You called 5. You called 5, but I didn't see that happening. I didn't see Clippers winning so like dominant. Like, no, not winning dominant, but kind of controlling the game. Like, they had a kind of one step up in game 2, but I thought that would have been a way, way closer series just because I thought Joker was the mismatch. Yeah, that Boston-Toronto series, I think we all call 7 on that.
Yeah.
So
yeah. I think out of stubbornness on that YouTube exclusive, I said 6.
You said 6?
But like, I think I also explained like the safe answer is to say 7, but I was just being stubborn. So I said I was just giving outrageous takes on that one for that one. So I said 6, but I knew for sure like it was gonna be like a 7-game series because they match up so evenly. Like
Facts.
Biggest surprise, same with me. Actually, not the biggest surprise because, like I said previously, the way the Bucks played last year. I'm actually, the biggest surprise to me was the fact that they squeezed one in without Giannis. But I get that the fact that he had a defensive scheme built around Giannis, so him leaving early kind of messed that plan all up. And finally, middle 10 emerged and finally started playing. And we saw glimpses of Phoenix Bledsoe. So I'm glad they at least got to pull out one. But my biggest surprise would be if Giannis stays in Milwaukee. I know he says he's not going anywhere, but like if you won MVP twice and got not just lose, but got embarrassed twice, like something needs to be done. So if Milwaukee doesn't make a big change, the Freak's gonna be wearing different colors next season, or whenever he's eligible to like leave, depending on what the trade plans are.
He essentially has 2 years left, essentially.
2 years? Yeah.
Yeah, because he can sign a Supermax this year, but if he doesn't sign it, then the year after that, he'll become a unrestricted. So
we'll see. I wanted to wear Raptors red, but Coach kind of broke down what the issues would be. And speaking of the major issue, my biggest upset He's still playing like garbage. Is who I now call Splenda P, because last night's like boxing match of a game, I don't know what he was doing. He had the most minutes and the worst performance. This man's spin move, I think he tried it like 7 times and maybe only got 2 off, and he got 3 turnovers on spin moves, and he wouldn't stop. Like when you're playing, when you're playing a game, McNeil, you know about this. And you have that one player that you like in practice, they're incredible. You know what I'm saying? On the streets, they're incredible. But when the whistle blows and they're on like an official floor, the official playing time minutes, they just disappear. And they're nervous and they're making mistakes and their shots off and they're making like silly amateur turnovers. That's what it looked like. Like Siakam looked like he doesn't know how to. He's just learning how to play basketball. That's how it looked like to me. He had flashes of like spicy P, like dashes of spice, but it's mostly just been like terrible, man. And imagine it's that close and that hard of a fight with him playing terribly. I can only imagine what it would have been if Spicy P literally was here. But for now, we got to go on the hunt for him, man, because I don't see him. That's my biggest upset.
I was waiting for the rant, to tell you the truth. I knew it was coming. I was here just, all right, I'm buckled up, ready to go. So
I'm not even gonna really get into this conversation, you know. I'll leave it alone, man.
Yeah. So, what's been your biggest surprise, or what's upset you throughout the NBA playoffs?
I think my biggest surprise so far has probably been Denver coming back from a 3-1 and Jamal Murray kind of taking over. I remember watching playoffs last year and he kind of struggled being in the playoffs for his first year, but kind of took ownership this playoffs and just said, like, we're down, but I got something to show you guys. And I think that was like the biggest surprise so far. The biggest upset, I'll probably say not even like a team. I think this has to go to an individual, to be honest. I already had Miami beating Milwaukee in 6. I just think they didn't match up good against them. There'll be a lot more bodies they could put in front of Giannis, but being a 2-time MVP, being Defensive Player of the Year, you just froze and hid when the moments mattered most. And people give a lot of ridicule to Kobe down the stretch for missing shots and taking ridiculous shots, and LeBron getting into the paint and kicking it out. But with Giannis, he didn't even want the ball in his hand. So it was like, what kind of superstar is that they have on your team that doesn't even want the ball, yet alone pass the ball? So I feel like that was probably a coming out party for a lot of people, realizing the type of player he is going forward. Is he's not going to be the guy to really take that last shot. He's going to get you to where you want to be to that fourth quarter, but he's not a finisher. He's not a fourth court player, and it got exposed. And especially being the bubble where there's no fans and you can hear guys talking on the court, it didn't look nice. It didn't.
Facts. Nah, like the biggest thing with the playoffs is that, like, you see this year in and year out, like the playoffs kind of, in order to beat a team 4 times out of 7 times, like, you gotta really, really be good at something. And Giannis, he doesn't have a B. Same thing with Siakam. They don't have like a B move. Like, everything is just full court, Euro, full court spin, like, use their athleticism and their length. But once the game kind of slows down and teams basically wall up against you, like, Giannis is struggling. And same thing with Siakam. Like, it's not like he's not getting looks. He's not finishing over contact well. Like, even last night, he missed that layup late.
Yeah. The left-handed
layup late, right? Yep. And it's just because, like, I don't know, man. Because, like, he's not going. He go up against Jaylen Brown, who's basically long and athletic, and Marcus Smart, and all they're doing is they're just sitting down on him. Like, they're not letting him kind of like shot fake, and, like, like, he's not able to play in space. That's hurting him, right? And same thing with Giannis. Like, like, it's exposing them, man. Like, they don't have a plan B.
I think the problem with Siakam is he's not a first option player. He's a second option player, and right now everyone, like the team, the fans, we're treating him as a Batman. He's not a Batman. He's a Robin.
Not a Batman.
And I was talking to my friend about him. So he's trying to do all these Batman moves and step backs and all of this, and that's not his game. So he's not looking comfortable with it. So now it's how do you now you're struggling, your shot's not falling, you're not a Batman. How do you go back to this Robin mode, but a Robin with the Batman not there?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it's hard.
I think,
It's
but
tough. Yeah, it's tough.
for
Come
me,
nightly.
for me, as a Raptors fan, it's disappointing of his play. But what annoys me about the shots that he's taking is that once he's in the post, he's close to the rim when he's going up. It's
Yeah.
those ones that when he misses that annoys me because I'm like, you're right at the rim, especially like if a Marcus Smart on you, you have the length, you have the height on him, right? Like those gimme baskets on the
Yeah.
turnaround put up, when those miss, I'm like, are you serious? Not
Yeah.
like when he does the fade shots, I'm like, all right, if he goes in, it goes in. If it misses, it misses. Cool. But you're like 2 feet from the rim. Like
Yeah.
just you know what I mean? Like
It's
I
not
get
easy.
mad. I get mad
yeah.
at in rec games when people miss those ones, and I'm like, so if a pro misses, I'm even more mad.
Multiple times too.
For me, I think the biggest surprise, like I said, the Miami series to me wasn't a surprise to me. Like I called 5 games and I was confident in it because Milwaukee didn't impress me against Orlando, and I'll keep saying it. Like our Orlando team that struggled to score, they didn't impress me in there. Like they should have, the plus minus were like 15 each game, and I think they only covered it once throughout that whole series. And I'm like, they can't hit shots. Like you can go up 18 on them comfortably. You know what I mean? The biggest surprise to me is the OKC series. And that has what upset me the most too, because the OKC series was a really good series going 7 games. What's his name? Dort.
Yep.
He came up big in game 7, and it kind of looked like the Draymond Green game in Cleveland when game 7 when Draymond Green went crazy on Cleveland and he put up like 30 points and then they lost, right? It felt like that, and what upset me about it was I don't know what kind of play call that was at the end that Billy Donovan drew up. With
Chris Paul?
No, he threw it into Steven Adams, and then Westbrook was able to get his hand on the ball, and it was a turnover after that, right? But in that time, I'm going to the person that pretty much got me to here. Like Chris Paul took over games. Chris Paul in the fourth quarter was that guy. Like
But he kind of hit away, and like he didn't play good in those last 2 minutes, though, man.
But I'm still in my mind, I'm going to the person that provided most of the big shots for me in game 4 to get me to this point. Like in the fourth quarter to get me to this point, right? Like it's not.
He had the ball in his hands, but like he missed a little 8-foot floater. He tried to friggin' like he had 1-on-1 tie game. I think it was with like 14 seconds left.
Yeah, no. There was opportunities. I'm just saying that last play, what am I gonna go to Steven Adams where Steven Adams was, right? Like there really wasn't anything that he was gonna do unless it's like a quick catch and pass and hope for the shot, right? But like he could have, to me, it's if you're gonna use him to set a screen, like a high screen to get somebody open, or get him to the basket so that he can catch and turn and put up, right? Where he was, you had him on an island. There was nothing for him to do. So it was like, if he got it, what next? Like I just didn't like the play call for a final play for a game 7.
I think in that situation, being in those situations, you have to. The play is as good as the person who's inbounding the ball, and I think they put the wrong person to inbound the ball. I think
Who inbounded the ball?
I think it was Shea. I think it was Shea. They
Shea.
put both times, and he's gonna be a great player. Don't get me wrong, but at that moment, I think you put someone more like you put like Dennis Schroeder. Of course, you want CB3 getting the ball, but I think Dennis Schroeder, person that's inbounding the ball, he's able to make a decision and have that vision. He's been in those situations. Get something where he's inbounding the ball, and CP3 is coming off a screen where he's getting to his right hand or getting to that little mid range.
Yeah,
that would have been ideal. But with Houston switching all their ball screens is hard. You see Lakers right now. It's it's not easy.
Yeah.
So it was hard, but I think they started off. I think it should have been Dennis Schroeder inbounding the ball, and from there they probably would have got a better look than what they got.
I can see
I didn't
that
even
too.
know. I didn't even know why Adams was in the game. Like at that point, you go small. You put Gallo in the game. You put Shea, CP3, even what's this like Dory, any of those guys. But like Steve Adams, like Tucker was like playing off of him. Like there's no reason he should have been in the game. Like yeah, I'm sure he sets a really really good screen, but like, like I don't even know why he was in the game at that point. To be honest with you, so.
All right, let's move on to the next question. So,
All right.
who out of these players do you think is the best under 23 player in the NBA? Luka Doncic, Jason Tatum, Jamal Murray, Donovan Mitchell, or Devin Booker?
That's tough. I mean, overall player, I think Tatum is the best player there overall. But if I'm looking like they all do things really well. Like Jamal Murray is like really good getting space, getting a shot off, like a rhythm shooter. Donovan Mitchell is good at attacking the rim. Like Utah putting him in the one changed the series for them.
Yeah.
I changed the series because now you got him going off the one, like going off the pick and roll, getting downhill, like change the series for them. But like if I'm going just overall both sides of the ball, to me it's Tatum because he can play offense and lock up on defense. Like he just doesn't have a lot of holes in his game. Whereas Luka was at MVP form this year, but he's a liability on the defensive end. So I can't really say he's the best player there. You know, might have a lot of potential because he's just like he's been playing pro since he was like 16 or whatever.
Yeah.
So he might have the most potential, but my answer would be Jason Tatum.
Okay.
I like Jason Tatum. I really do.
Oh, I know you can't say anything right now, right?
Not right now though. Not right now particularly, but I gotta go with Luka, man. Like when I watch Luka play, I forget he's only a sophomore. You know, he had a monster rookie season. He's having a monster season. His first playoff debut, and this guy stepped up when Unicorn went down, and went up against arguably like a potential championship candidate, and got some games on him. Made them bleed. You know, I know he does that. He's not the fastest. His shooting is on and off. He's a defensive liability, but with all those weaknesses, he's still someone you have to contend with. He shouldn't be doing what he's doing at his age. You know what I'm saying? And with those weaknesses, right? So I gotta go with Luka. I wouldn't say he's the best player, but I would say that if I had to choose, I'd choose him, which is weird to say, but I just feel like in those clutch moments, those moments that a lot of people with his experience would shy away from and kind of break down, he has like the will of a lion, you know what I'm saying? And he doesn't go out there and play like a 2-year player. He goes there and
Well,
plays
like
like
wait, if you look at it though, like he's been a pro for like 7 years already.
yeah, because
So those moments where like someone like Tatum who's playing AAU ball, played a year in college, and then left, like Tatum is like he's like really fresh, you know. And same thing like Donovan Mitchell, like those guys are like really fresh. Whereas Luka, he's been playing grown men since he was like 16. You know, so like I don't
that's
really
true.
like.
That's true.
You saying?
No, I said that's true.
Yeah.
But and that again, experience will come into play too, right? Like you're talking about 2 years of experience versus the experience you're talking about, right? Which in those because there's like moments where skill is the factor, and there's moments when experience is a factor. There's moments when you're thrown into a new situation and your experience will be more valuable than your skill. So to that point of like the fact that Luka's kind of been a pro more or pro longer, that means that in certain situations could pop up. For example, like the situations are popping up now that we're playing in a bubble, right? Experience will often trump like skill, in my opinion. So I feel more secure in Luka because of the experience. Whereas, like, I think Tatum is a better player when it comes to like the experience end of things. Luka, I think, edges him out. If that makes sense.
Yeah, I don't know. I follow.
Yeah, I get it. For me, it would be if I'm starting a team, I'm starting my team with Luka. But honestly, like Devin Booker is just a cold guy, man. Like he's just a cold scorer, man. And his potential to me is insane. And with the teams that he has, he's never had a good team. So like it's the thing, but if I'm starting a team and that's who I'm gonna say the best one for me is gonna be Luka. But all of these guys on this list, like when they say the NBA is in good hands when certain players retire, it's absolutely true because these are just 5 players under 23, and we're not even talking about people that might be coming up, people that are a little bit older. Like the NBA is in good hands with these guys. So I would love to see a next series with Donovan Mitchell and Jamal Murray though. Like I want to see a next series with them. But I'm gonna go Luka. But I think the coldest scorer in that list is Devin Booker.
Or like Stephen A would say, he's a bad man.
I have to agree with all you guys. Luka for sure. I remember being overseas and watching his EuroLeague games and win EuroLeague MVP against grown men and doing stuff that no teenager should be doing. And I'm like, no one in North America knows what's gonna go on when he gets over there. Like he's gonna take it by storm. Like the poise, he just knows the game. Like he's not playing basketball, he just knows it. It's like the back of his hand. Like he knows guys where they should be and getting the pass there. Like it's too easy for him that we could say like he's not athletic. Like because that's just the speed and pace he plays at. The game just slowed down for him at such an early age. Tatum's going to be amazing. I think one thing that benefits Tatum is that he's in the East and he's going to be there for a very long time in a very good organization. So they're always going to surround him with good people around him. And I think that's what's going to take his game to the next level. But if I had to start a team and I'm the GM, I'm probably going with Luka. I always would start with a point guard.
Yeah.
And then kind of figure out from there. But everyone on that list is amazing. Jamal Murray is amazing. Devin Booker is greatly unappreciated because he's in Phoenix. Donovan Mitchell just went up a notch in this Utah versus Denver series. So it should be interesting, but it's all opinion based depending on who you like.
Yeah. Sure.
And I think that's
one thing I will say about Jason Tatum too is him and Jaylen Brown being a duo is going to be a dope duo for a while. Like, because they feed off each other so well, and I think like the defensive skills that Jaylen Brown has and the defensive skill that Tatum has, like they put Boston in a potential to match up against any team.
Honestly, like I watched them play and like I don't like their offense, man. Like I don't like Boston's offense. Like it's very much like you get it, you score. You get it, you score. Like it's not like movement based. It's like it's tough. Like whereas you watch Raptors play and it's just wherever got it go. Like like it's not. It's I don't know. I'm
saying like because there was games in the series where Tatum was off, right?
Yeah,
and Jaylen Brown is keeping them in the game, and then where Jaylen Brown is off and Tatum is keeping them in the game. But one thing that they both do is they're both playing defense. You know what I mean? Like as a duo, you want to make sure that you're whoever you consider Batman, whoever you consider Robin, one of them showing up. If one of them showing up if the other one's off, but you're both going hard on defense, right? Like that's what keeps you in the game, and that's what keeps Boston in a lot of these games. Like their defensive awareness, especially on like a Van Vliet and a Kyle Lowry and a Siakam, like they're doing their jobs on those guys. You know what I mean? You don't mind switching if they're picking them up. So like, yeah.
Yeah, and one thing I always said, and I kind of said this with my other friends, is I hope they stay together, but I think that down the line there's going to come to a point where Boston's going to have to pick one of them.
Big, for sure. Yeah.
Because if you look at the history of basketball, it's very rare that you get two superstar players that are on the wing. Michael Jordan and Scottie made it work.
They did, but Scottie was.
Yeah, that's the thing.
His money was
big sacrifice.
His money was money. Yeah.
You don't really see that in the NBA. So you always see the little point guard and the big guy, or the backcourt, or whatever it may be that Stockton Malone. But you rarely see the two swingman positions really staying together. So hopefully they stay together, but I won't be surprised.
I don't know. Yeah. Like, and then they got Gordon Hayward, like
Kemba Walker.
Like their backcourt is filled.
It's filled.
Tough. Yeah, it's tough. It's tough. Jeez. My turn, guys.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. All right, well, kind of take us through your journey. Like how have you been able to kind of get to where you are? You know, like you're playing pro. Just came off winning a championship. Like, how has that journey been for you from, coming into the game?
It's been crazy and long. I started playing basketball from probably 5 years old. I have 3 older brothers, and they all play, so I was always in the gym, following their footsteps. And then I just kept playing. I just kept like being in the gym. I wasn't really good at first. I was short, didn't get my growth spurt, wasn't fastest, wasn't the person who could jump the highest. So I always knew that if I wanted to stay in the game, I have to do something really good that the coach has to keep me in the game. And I learned that very early. I think that was the 9th grade. And I just started getting in the gym and just shooting consistently. Where the point is like, I'm going to play, but I might be deep in the corner. But when that ball gets to me, I know it's going up and it's going in. And I think my breakout year was kind of grade 11. I grew a little bit and I started playing really good. People recognizing me. I always had a dream to go in Division I basketball. Like it was Division I or die. And that's what my mindset was. And didn't get no real offers. Got a couple come here for an unofficial visit. We'll see how you are. We'll let you know. Never really worked out. So after my 5th year, I played at Mother Teresa in Scarborough. After my 5th year, I'm like, I still want to go Division I. Let me go junior college. So I went junior college in Texas, and it was probably the worst basketball experience, second worst basketball experience I've ever had. It was a losing culture. Coach didn't care. Every guy was out for themselves, looking out for themselves. In the middle of nowhere, Texas, the town had like 1,500 people. Didn't even have no McDonald's. Everything closed at 9.
No McDonald's.
It was.
God damn.
Coming from Toronto, there's like a lot of people all over the place, and you're in this small town, and it's just you're losing every game. So I've always had contact with Roy Rana, who coached at Ryerson. He always kept in touch because he was recruiting me out of high school, and he's like, you know what, always keep in touch no matter where you go. Like we wanted you here, but who knows down the line. And I think it was one day I was in my room, and I just texted him like, man, I want to come home and transfer. And he's like, come. We're like, we're ready. Like, we want you. And then I transferred to Ryerson, and I got there, just took my whole game to another level. I didn't really want to go to Canadian University, but at this point, I made a decision. I thought it was the best decision for me, and ended up being the best decision for me. Got really good. I put in a lot of work. We were top 3 in the country for like 3 years in a row. Won our first ever OUA championship. We won back-to-back championships. My last year, I was a first team All-Canadian. And then it's just like everything just started happening so fast. And then it's like, got an agent. Agent's like, we have a deal for you in Germany. Like, you're going to leave in sometime in August. And I'm just like, what's going on? Like, if you told me this like 5 years ago, I would have laughed in your face. Yeah. So I went to Germany, didn't know what to expect, and kind of played good, stuck around the whole year, which is very rare, being Germany, the top league in Germany. experienced a lot of basketball, went to a lot of countries, and kind of so like feeling good about myself. I'm like, I could do this, like. And then my second year in Germany came along. I signed to another team in Germany, and it was the worst basketball. Completely. This is oh my gosh, it was terrible. It was terrible. Like losing culture. They didn't really care about winning. They were like, let's just win enough games to stay in the league, but like let's not we don't have too high of expectations. And that's not how I was bred. I was always you win, and you always strive to win. Like it's basketball. Like I want to be on the winning side, and I just never saw eye to eye with people who were just okay with being mediocre. So I struggled. Like I struggled psychologically. I struggled in the games. I shot really bad. I shot 22% from the 3-point line, which is the worst I've ever shot in my life. It was just nothing that was going right. And I was in a situation where they stopped playing me. They brought in another player, and they kind of tried to force me out of my contract, where if I say I want to leave, then I would get no money. So I'm there stuck.
Jeez.
So it was just all
That's not very wunderbar at all.
No,
That's crazy.
Yeah, there's a lot of horror stories overseas.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of stories about people not getting paid. A lot of it.
Yeah, so it wasn't the greatest, but it made me realize like, all right, I'm a professional, but just because I'm a professional doesn't mean I stop loving the game. And I think the CEBL started last summer, and the opportunity to play with Edmonton. So I knew the coach there, and I'm just like, I'm getting paid, but I just want to have fun again playing basketball, something I love. And that's what I just kind of took it that way. And it's just like, I started like playing and having fun with it, and it was just brought a joy back into me. So fast forward, and it was kind of slow because I didn't play greatest that last season. So it took a while to get a contract, but I ended up being second division France. Shout out to Javon Shepard. He was there before, and he got kind of hurt and stuff. So he like told the team like, "Yo, Scarborough, the Scarborough guy, like let's look out for him." So I'm like, all right, well, thanks. So I had a really good.
That's my OG, man.
Yeah, that's my OG. It's a great guy.
That's my OG. Yeah,
that's a great guy right there. So, and we were starting to play really good. I was playing really good, and I still remember this. We're on the way to a away game. We get to the hotel, and this is when it started. Like the COVID started really like hitting pretty bad in Europe, Italy especially. And there was like rumors like they don't know they're gonna shut down the league. We get to the hotel, put our bags down. We're about to have like a little pre-snack to go to shoot around that night. And coach came in, is like, yeah, the league's canceled for 2 weeks. We don't know. So from that point on, it was just like chaos. It was calling agents, calling people, what's going on? I'm in France. I don't know what's going on. It was like, in 2 weeks, they might start back in 2 weeks, but we don't know yet. It didn't really start hitting North America or Canada that bad. So it was just like, do I stay here and thug it out, or do I go home and be safe where I don't have to answer calls every hour and all that type of stuff? So came home, and once I came home in March, they're like, a week later, they're like, yeah, season's done for the rest of the year. So I'm like, oh my gosh, what's going on now? I started playing good basketball, feeling good about myself, and then this happens. So that's where I'm at now. I played, then we had a little bubble in St. Catharines with the CBL. We brought a lot of players back from last year, and that was our advantage with Edmonton.
Yeah.
We won that. It was a really good feeling. But now it's kind of back to square one because not a lot of people going overseas with the COVID. No one knows what's going on. Teams don't have money. So it's a very tricky situation. And that's where kind of I am right now. It's just kind of waiting for a call, but it's not like previous years. It's kind of worse.
That's tough. Like I've always heard stories about overseas and kind of the intricacies of kind of dealing with agents and dealing with teams and dealing with getting your money and all that stuff. I've heard a lot of stuff, so it's crazy,
Yeah, it definitely is. The main thing, I always tell people this, like guys who are fresh out of school and they're trying to look overseas. I'm like, you're going from you're being on your university team, college team, where you're there for 4 years, 5 years if you're in Canada, and it's all about team. Let's do this together. We're working for a goal to win a championship or get to the playoffs or do something great. And when you go to a pro now, it's you have to look after yourself.
Yeah.
It is the team, yeah, we want to win, but it's how much points you putting up today, how many shots you got up, what's your plus minus like. That and it's a big shift because guys are looking for their own. They're looking for that next contract. So it's a big change.
All right, so like kind of backtracking a little bit. Like who when you were growing up, who are some players that you kind of watched and kind of like shifted shaped your game after?
Everyone, I'm a student of the game. Vince Carter was one of the people I've always watched. Being Toronto, you know it is. Watching him early 2000, 2001, 2002. That was like
the good years.
The good years, man. you used to love when you used to be on a fast break because you're gonna see something you ain't seeing somewhere else.
Never, yeah.
And this is before YouTube and Instagram and all these type of things where you can see all the highlights.
And miss a game and you gotta watch Sports Center.
Sports Center. I watch freaking
the little highlights.
Tell me y'all remember Court Cuts.
Court Cuts was
tough.
Amazing.
I remember I used to watch Court Cuts at it came out like 9 p.m. I'm like, yo, this is tough.
The best
sleep down. You gotta sleep the TV on late.
Court Cuts, it was lit. Like I ain't gonna
lie, like when WWE moved over to The Score, Court Cuts used to come on right after SmackDown. So I'd watch SmackDown and then I'd stay watching TV because there was the next hour of Court Cuts right after.
Court Cuts was tough, yo.
I remember
I used to watch that. Yeah, I remember I used to watch that. I'm like, yo, this is like I was so amped. I was lit at like 9:30 p.m.
You just want to play basketball.
Yeah, I was like, yo, this is tough.
Wait, your Jamaican parents let you watch TV?
Facts.
That time of night?
But to go on that, my Jamaican parents were real. Like I don't know, like both my parents work like 2 jobs, so they're like.
Oh, true.
So this is me and my sister home most of the time. Shit.
Yeah. But yeah, you were saying Vince Carter and the good old Raptors days.
Vince Carter, like I used to still try and wear the number 21 because I was always. Like Tim Duncan, how he just approached the game, like his footwork always amazed me. I'm like, how does this guy always get that backboard shot? Like, just his footwork in the post and how he just approached every game. And I always loved KG with the number 21, just the aggression and the passion and everything about it is just like that's my generation right there. That the mid 2000s. The 2004 Detroit Pistons where they just played defense. They didn't care. Like, you come into the key, we're going to foul you hard, and you're going to make these 2 free throws. Like, that's the type of NBA I like. NBA is nice right now when the score is 120, but those real playoff games where it's 70-something to 80. Like, the defense.
Those are the fun games, man. Yeah. Those are fun games.
It's no fun games. It's just scoring, but that's, like, any person in that era there was just, that was me. And also like players, like for me, I always looked at the game differently. I'm like, all these superstars are great, and maybe one team has one great superstar, maybe a couple all-stars, but there's a lot of role players.
Yeah.
And those players are always going to get a job. There's always players going to be loved. And a person that, if you know me well, I always say is Andre Miller. He played so many seasons in the NBA, and he was playing every game, and he was just consistent. He came into the game, and it was just like, we know what to expect from this guy.
And always like top 5 in the league in assists.
Top 5. You start him, he'll give you a little bit more points. Come off the bench, he's just gonna find a way.
Thing.
Like, he's not the fastest. He's not doesn't jump the highest, but he gets the job done. And I think that game resonates with me because I'm not the person who's gonna run the fastest or jump the highest. But when I come in the game, I always try to make my mark somehow.
Facts.
He was this year for sure. He was like. Andre Miller was one of those guys that if you like fast-paced basketball, you hated watching it.
Yeah.
Because he catered as soon as he got into the game, he was catering the game to his skill points. Like you're like, all right, cool. He's gonna go for a midi, but you can't stop his mid range. It was insane. Like he was. All right, so I have a random question to ask because you brought up Kevin Garnett, right?
Yeah.
I heard a bunch of commentators saying that Patrick Beverley is like the new Kevin Garnett.
What?
Do you?
No, I disagree.
What?
I disagree. I think with Kevin Garnett, he talks the talk, but he walks the walk.
Produces, yeah. Like
You
I
know,
can't take Beverly seriously, man. I can't take him seriously, man. At all. Like I can't.
Garnett will talk to you and he'll give you 20 and 10.
Buckets, yeah.
Yes.
Patrick Beverly will talk to you and still get 30 points on his head by Luka.
Yeah.
And then Jamal Murray will score 20.
I can't take him serious, man.
So it's just like, yeah, he's gonna make a couple good stops. He's gonna steal the ball a couple of times, but like even yesterday, I was watching the game yesterday, and I think he blocked Jamal Murray, but every time he does something, he's doing the review sign. And and there's one time they zoomed into the coaching staff, and the coaching staff looked like they were just tired of him.
Yeah, he's just on something, man. He's like on something, man. He's just,
and we're talking about Hall of Famer Doc Rivers, Tyronn Lue, Sam Cassell, and they're like, someone talk to this guy.
Yeah.
But to compare him to KG, like KG's like a Rottweiler, and Pat Bev's like a scrappy Chihuahua.
I think it's Beverly comparing himself to KG.
Okay.
So
because
Beverly said that Kevin Garnett is his favorite player, right?
Yeah, because like I can't see.
And growing up in Chicago, he had to play gritty and all that stuff, right? But
yeah,
I was watching. I forget which game it was, and there's like during the stream they had a whole video package, and in the video package, like 3 of the commentators, and it was 3 different voices that were like, "Yeah, he's like the new KG in the league," and I was like,
"Name him."
I was like,
awful, bro.
I was like, that might be the most shocking thing that I've heard this entire time, because like I remember, like Kevin Garnett was ruthless with his trash talk, but like. When he was ruthless with his trash talk, it would be like at the start of the game, or nearing the end when he already dropped like 30 points on your head. He had 30
That's
points,
the biggest thing.
12 rebounds,
That's the biggest thing.
8 assists, like 4 blocks, like
I can't take like Beverly reminds me of those guys who comes to the courts. Like you know those old heads that come to the court and there's foul.
The shirts tucked into their shorts.
Yeah. Like like
high socks,
wearing jeans on the court. Like there's not me of like
and when you say it's a foul, they look at you like foul.
Like you're crazy. Yeah. Like come on, man. Like
that's not a foul.
Nah, like no. Like don't get me wrong. Like I love to have him on my team because he brings energy. You know, I love that energy that he brings, but don't compare him to KG, man.
I hate to play against him.
There's a few guys.
I don't know.
I get tossed out of a few games if I played against him.
All right, so who would you hate more to play against? Marcus Smart or Patrick Beverly? Because you know Marcus Smart is gonna flop all over the place. He's gonna flop and then try to call foul on, like, you know what I mean? Like he's gonna do what like
honestly,
he does whatever it takes to get a foul. And then Patrick Beverly does whatever it takes to annoy you defensively. Like, you know what I mean? Like it's like
I respect Smart better because so Smart first team all defense
this year, yeah,
right. And like he's a threat on the court. Like you can't just like leave him. You can't just leave him. Like you watch this whole Raptors series. Like in the game, was it game 2 they won where he had like 15 points in the fourth quarter.
Yeah. 5 trades back to back, like in the
and then last night's game he hit some big trades down the end of the stretch.
Oh I during the overtimes I kept hating when I'd see he touched the ball, like when Smart, because he also like gathered the team together and like talked some life back into them. And went off.
I don't see them in the same light. Like I just think I look at Beverly personally as just like an annoyance, a nuisance on the court. Like he's just there to just stir shit up. You know, like whereas Marcus Smart, like I can respect it because he flops a lot. We talked about this last night in the group chat. Like he flops.
Like a fish out of water. Yeah.
He does flop, but you know he produces, and he talks shit, but at least he's producing. On the other end, he's producing. He's showing something for that. Like Beverly, like if I was playing Beverly, like if I was in the league and I was one of those like Jamal Murray, like. Come on, man. Like I got 25 on your head, and you're still talking to me. Like just nice it, you know. Just nice it. Fuck, bro. Like,
if you guys didn't think,
I bet you Jamal Murray said that. 19.
Nice it, yo.
For those that thought we were American podcasts, that's
I like.
A lie?
Come
on, Sam.
I think with Beverly, he's more of a provoker. Like he comes into the game and he wants to provoke something.
Yeah.
With Marcus Smart, it's the flow of the game. So it's like, yeah, he might steer something up, but he's not purposely coming in just to provoke.
Yeah.
He's gonna be like, he'll hit a couple shots and maybe he'll get a little chippy and then he might say something, but he's not coming to game around the gate like Beverly and just gonna guard you like this and look up to you. Like he's not gonna
with
do
his
anything.
crackhead eyes,
Like
those crackhead cock eyes.
And the thing is, like, I played against guys that are like that. I'm just like, if he's on my team, I'll be like, yeah, every single time.
I love it. Yeah,
but against me, I'm just like, man, I just can't wait till this game is done because I don't want to play against you.
But see, like that's part of his whole package. Like guys don't like playing against him.
Yeah.
No, guys don't like playing against him, and like for the money, like he's making his money off of that. Like he's making his money coming in, being a nuisance, being a guy who's gonna get the game chippy. Like just like the Morris brothers. Like they're I see them all the same way. Like they made their money off of being able to hit an open shot because like Beverly, when he was on Houston, like he was knocking down trade balls so he could hit open shots.
Mm-hmm.
And their job is to make the game more difficult for whoever they're guarding.
True.
Right. So
Both physically and psychologically too.
Yeah, like that's their job. So like I get it, but fuck nah.
15 years ago, there was a Marcus Smart and Patrick Beverly, Marcus Smart on every team.
Every team. Yeah, it was.
Now you're only talking about 3 guys.
Few and far in between. Yeah. You got like maybe PJ Tucker is kind of in that realm a little bit, but not really.
It's
not really. It's
maybe they have 5 out of them, maybe 5 in NBA, but back in the day, there was one person where everything came loose. Just let out the Reggie Evans. He'll start doing something.
Yeah. Everybody knew who those people were. Like especially the 90s. The 90s, everybody, like they like three people out of the 12-man roster that was active, where their contracts was to make sure that you take out somebody on the next team, and make sure that if your superstar player gets attacked, you're the one stepping up.
Be physical, yeah.
The enforcer.
Yeah, like you had the Charles Oakley.
Yeah.
Like probably one of the most known ones out of them all. Like
yeah. And that's how Porzingis got his technical.
Yeah.
And that's the unwritten real of basketball. If someone attacks your point guard, you stand up for your point guard. That's what it is, and got a technical for that. But
and it don't matter what your win-loss records are in fights. You better step up to that.
Every time.
Oh my god.
Yo, Sean, you're up.
I'm up. All right, let's see here. So,
just to let you know, David Johnson just scored his first touchdown.
That's cool.
Oh, Houston.
Lakers are playing.
So, what is the toughest individual matchup that you've ever had?
Toughest
individual. Your arch nemesis, your arch rival, the guy that you knew you got to be ready.
The Patrick Beverly that you had to face.
It wasn't Patrick Beverly. It wasn't Patrick Beverly. It was. I still remember this game, man. It was my second year in Germany. This guy named Tyrese Rice. Cold, like 5'10", maybe 6 foot, lefty guard. He was like a EuroLeague MVP in 2015, and we're playing against them, and I had to test to guard him. This guy cooked me, straight up cooked me, and it was bad. Like I was helpless. Like it was one of those ones. I'm like, I literally had to shake his hand and be like, "Yo, you got me." Like he was that nice, and not a lot of people know this guy, but you guys might have to YouTube him. This guy, it's cold, lefty, short point guard, like
and everything.
He had everything. I remember the game, and he was just like coming up, pick and roll, throwing alley-oops. There's one time it was like I was inbounding the ball, but I wasn't positioned right. Like he threw it off my back, got it, lay up, and I didn't even know what was going on.
Wait, threw it off your back?
Hit it off my
back.
You
put some and one?
He threw it off my back. Like, it's one of those ones where I'm trying to get somewhere else on the inbound, and he just threw it off my back, got the ball, laid it up. By the time I turned around, the ball was in the basket. I just seen the guy walking from the bench. I was just like, those ones you're like, Coach, don't put me back in the game. It's bad. It's bad. Like, it was bad. That guy, he gave me some work, and
Did you end up talking to him after the game?
nah, it was just a quick. Like, I was so embarrassed and so mad at myself. I think it was just like I got back to the locker room. I took a shower, just went home. Usually I get some food. I just went straight home. Like, I'm cooking some food inside today. Like, no one talked to me. Family saying like, tough luck, good game. I'm not replying. I'm just like, nah, this is not the night. Like, message me back tomorrow. Like,
Tomorrow, hit me tomorrow, man.
I need some wine or
Listen to some
something.
Drake.
Yeah. It wasn't good. It wasn't good. It was not good.
All right.
That's funny, man.
Follow up. When did you first realize that you actually had a legit chance to make a living playing the game you love?
I think it was probably after my second year at Ryerson. Became third in the country. I was about to go to, I think my coach called me to the office. He's like, come, I gotta tell you something. So he's like, you've been selected to play on the university team, the university games to go to South Korea. And I'm like, what? Like, this is big time.
Yeah.
And he's like, yo, what do you want to do after you're done here at Ryerson? My whole goal, like, yeah, I'll just go to Ryerson, finish up, go to teacher's college and become a teacher. And he's like, no, you're a pro. I know this, like, you're a pro. And I'm like, me a pro? I'm like, nah, I don't see it. Like, I'm good, but I don't think I'm good enough to be like making money. He's like the first one to be like, no, like, you're a pro, you planted that seed, and kind of just changing my perspective on everything. I just like, damn, like, I can make money off of this? Like, you believe in me like that? So I just kept working, and then when it got to my last year, it just kind of started falling all in place. Like, agents started calling me, trying to talk to me, and want to meet me and telling me like they like me, and then I could play in these certain countries. And I was like, wow, like, this is actually happening. And when I got the first contract and I was going through it, I'm like, I would never imagined of playing professional. Like, of course you want to make it to the NBA, but it gets to a certain point where it's like you have to have more realistic dreams. But I would never imagine playing pro until like my second, at like basically the start of my third year at Ryerson.
So I have a little question. That's not on the script, but like, so you kind of mentioned that you've played pro overseas and stuff. So like, where is like probably the best place you've been to as a result of basketball, and where is like a place you've been to where like just wasn't it? Like, you were
Just get
dying
me
to-
home.
Yeah,
Besides
dying to get
Texas.
home.
Oh, besides Texas, well, I think the best basketball experience I probably had was when I was in university games and went to South Korea. It was the first time I ever represented Canada, so I was beyond happy. I'm like, it was basically like a mini Olympics. You have all these different countries, all these different sports. We're in the village, and it was just, I was like head over heels. I was just so happy of being there and having these friendships with a lot of guys that I'm still close to this day. So I think that there is probably like one of my fondest memories of playing basketball. And then a place that I probably just like, man, I don't want to be here. I won't say for a season, but my first year we were playing kind of basketball Champions League. So you go to different countries, and I think one of the games we played was in, I think it wasn't Bosnia. It was one of those countries. I can't remember the name right now.
Mm-hmm.
It was.
You already blocked it out your memory.
It was like we got out the hotel. We got off the airplane. It was just like, it was a war-torn kind of country. Get to the hotel, and it was one of those hotels where they kind of built in the 70s and they didn't renovate it that much. So it was just like, what the hell is here? And then we played the game. There was no one really at the game because in the middle of the week. And at halftime, I always remember this. We're walking out, and the coaching staff of the other team is in the building. And the coaching staff, this is 3-4 guys. They're all smoking cigarettes in the arena, outside of the locker room, with a player there. Also, a player was also smoking with them at halftime. This is my first year. This this is like my second month overseas from coming from Canada. So I'm like, I'm so used to like, you go in the locker room, get your mind right, coach come in, he started yelling, telling, and these guys are literally smoking a cigarette. And I'm just like, this is what they're doing here? The players are smoking cigarettes too at halftime? I'm like, nah. Like, I'm smelling myself. I'm smelling like cigarette. I'm like, all right, let's get this game over with and let's go. Like, that one there in Greece also another. I like Greece, but the first time I played in Greece for a game, I remember coming out at halftime and I'm smelling in the arena. I'm like, the coach is like, yeah, they smoke weed in the arenas here. I'm like, they do what? They're like, yeah, like they just smoke weed in the arena while they're watching the game, and the police don't do anything because they can't do anything.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
Like, wow, that was eye-opening.
That's crazy.
So it was just a lot of different. I've been to China too. I've been to China and the same thing. Like a lot of people they smoke cigarettes in the arena or in the hallways and stuff. And it's different. So I mean, I saw the really good parts of it, and I see parts where it's just like
Other side.
I see the other side of it.
All right, so I got one last question for everyone. And this wasn't on the script because we're going off script real quick. So we have different levels of basketball players here, right? So we have a professional player. We've had a player that's played high school ball and now is a coach. Essay, I know you played basketball at some point.
Yeah.
Me, I played like rec leagues and stuff. I didn't actually play basketball until I was like 18. That was like the first time I ever played, right? So like, what is one of your funniest moments playing basketball?
I think I'll go last, so I think I'm the best one.
I'll go first because this story popped in my head when I was thinking of the question. I was like, I have to ask the question to everyone, right? It was Coach. Me and Coach played on a rec team, right? And there was a player on the team that just kept taking dumb shots, and Coach got pissed off, right? So during one of the timeouts, or it was like halftime, he walked up to the player's face and he's arguing with the player like in the middle of the game. And so like we're walking towards our own bench, and I'm kind of just like, all right, I'm walking slow to get off the court, right?
Yeah.
And there's a couple people in the stands that knows Coach. All of a sudden, I see them hop off the bench, and they get to my bench before I get to my bench, and I'm on the court. And they turn to Coach, and they're like, "Yo, is everything good?" He's like, "Yeah, man, it's good. Just relax."
Going up to Scarborough, man.
So I walk over to him. I'm like, "Yo, what?"
So Coach was coaching.
I was like, "Yo, what were you gonna do?" He's like, "I wasn't gonna swing first, but I'm gonna provoke him to swing first." I didn't even know what to say at the end. We saw the next half to play. I was like, I don't even know what to.
That was a long time ago, man.
That was a long time ago, but that one made me laugh. Like, yeah.
Shoot, I ain't got no funny stories though, man. I got like, damn, I gotta think more.
All right, I'll go.
Go ahead. I have no funny story.
I don't have a funny story, but this is like the most memorable event of me of playing ball. So I was on my elementary school team, I was on my high school team, and then in university, I'm not the tallest guy. I'm like 5'6". I had a high vert. I think it was like 42-inch vertical, so I could grab rim, and on good days I can actually like touch it in. Right, I can't like punch it, but I can kind of like tip it, right? It's like a blend between a layup and a. So I did engineering in university, so I was on the engineering intramural team, and we were trash. Like I was the only black guy on the team, and they could tell you why the ball is going into the net. They just can't execute it. Right? And I lied. I wasn't the only black guy. There's two of us, and there's one guy who was literally 6'6", right? But he was the most uncoordinated. Like his coordination was horrendous. like horrendous. And you get mad because he has all that height and he's clumsy with the ball. Like at some point, all you have to do is just literally, you have to jump, just like hook it in, and that was too much of a task. So one game in particular, I did not want to lose to this team because I knew a couple players on the team. They've been talking trash during rec ball the entire time. So I said, all right, I'm gonna single-handedly bring you guys down. Almost got there, right? Almost got there, but like I can only do so much. So there's this one time I was so upset and I was so into it that I just charged at the ball, and I charged at the rim with the ball. I said, no matter what happens, like I'm putting this in. So I go in, instead of doing layup, I try to slam it down because I'm just like in the zone. I get blocked from behind so bad, and the arm, like I got blocked. Their elbow hit the back of my head, and I fell and I jabbed my finger, right? So and then the ref, no call. So I get so mad. Before I even popped my finger, I didn't even notice my finger was. I'm just yelling and screaming at the ref. Got the foul, and then I'm about to like get the ball, and they're like, "Yo, Sean, what's up with your finger?" And I look, my finger's like jacked up. Popped it out. Put the 2 shots in. Got subbed out. Walked to the bench. You know what the coach said to me? By the way, I'm not gonna say his name to embarrass him, but the tall black guy. He was the one who fouled you by accident.
Oh my god!
And that's the only time I've confessed that to this day.
That is crazy.
Wow.
That's almost as bad as the ref that we were in a close game. This is the next one that coach was there for. It was the startup league that we played in. We played like one season, and that was it. Dynasty. And they had the one ref, right? And we're in the championship game against the team called Dynasty, and we're down like 1 point, and they go to inbound the ball, and then the ref calls a foul on me, and I go, I didn't even touch him. He goes, I knew you were gonna touch him, that's why I called the foul. And I go, wait, what?
That's so dumb. I'm sorry.
Oh yeah, you were getting ref by Miss Cleo apparently.
Facts.
That's crazy. Nah, I ain't got no funny stories, man. I just got like, I don't know. I ain't got no funny stories, man. Shit. I just remember playing with DeVoe and those guys, and freaking hearing like DJ on the bench telling me to pass the ball to DeVoe, but I got
That's your only job.
I mean, we were playing on I don't know what it's called, but it was like we're on some team called Kawartha. So this was like going into like trying to get for Team Ontario stuff.
Yeah.
And like we're playing, and like, I remember DJ's like, "Yo, give the ball up to DeVoe." I'm like, "Shit, I'm open too." Fuck. Shit. I remember shit like that, but like I got no funny stories.
It was like the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air episode. Yeah. What do you do when you get the ball? Pass the ball to Will.
It was, but our team was nice though, man. We got DeVoe and Sean. It was nice. But yeah, anyways, that's my funny story.
All right.
My funny story. I think it was 2016. We were hosting the championship for Ontario OUA against Carleton, and it was like our first time like in a championship game. Home court, playing at Ryerson downtown. Everyone and their mom was there, and we're playing terrible in the first half. We were down like 15 or 16. So we get back to the locker room. It was quiet. Everyone was just mad, like, yo, we're about to lose on home court. And our last guy on our bench, the guy who never plays. I won't expose anybody. He'll never play. He's like in the corner, so like he's like a walk-on. So he never gets like the nice locker. He gets like the locker that no one really wants. You just hear like some type of thing just crumpling up. You're like, what the hell is that? He opens up a bagel from Tim Hortons, and he just starts eating it like this. And it's dead silent. And then our guy on our team, I think he's a comedian now, What's with Andy, he just looks at him and he's like, yo, what are you doing? And everyone just started like laughing. Like, it was one of those like the best comic relief you could have ever had. Like, I think we just forgot we were down 15 and everyone just started laughing. And then we end up coming back in the game and winning. And I was always remembering, I'm like, how are you gonna be that hungry in a championship game to pull out a bagel? And that's like, this bagel must have been there a while too.
For a
Like,
while, yeah.
and you just started eating a bagel. We call them snacks after, because I'm like, you just in the middle of a game, a championship game, you eating a bagel with cream cheese. It helped us win though, so I can't complain. But I'm just like,
Yeah, you guys were hungry for buckets. He was hungry for
and he was hungry. But one thing I always give it to him, he was that he. When I always say like, you're only gonna be as good as the last player on your team, the last player on the bench. And
Yeah.
this guy would always stay late, put up shots. He wasn't the greatest player. He would always put up shots, and in the game, he'll make the most noise. He'll always be chanting defense. He'll always doing everything, all the little things.
Yeah.
So he was just that guy. And so when it happened, it was just like, yo, this guy. Of all the guys, it'll be this guy. Eating a
That's
bagel,
crazy.
and I'll always remember that.
That's funny still. I'm not gonna lie.
That's crazy.
But yeah, so this is the point where we get the chance to promote our social medias and anything that we might be working on or anything that we want to promote. So Essay, we'll start with you this time.
All right. So at Pro Chatterbox on Instagram, and my podcast has finally launched. It's Talks with the Chatterbox. Right now, you can find it on Spotify, Anchor, and SoundCloud. Google Podcast is coming up next, and Apple Podcasts. And if you go to my Instagram handle, Pro Chatterbox, there's a link tree where you can see where you can stream that at.
Yep. I listened to the first episode. It was worth the pushbacks that you were.
I'm worth the wait, man.
If it didn't sound good, I was gonna message you on the side and be like, you promoted this on the pilot episode and this is what you came up with. But no, it was dope. I'll tell everyone go listen to it.
I'm glad I delivered, man. Appreciate you, man.
All right, Coach.
Same thing as always, man. Real deal _Francis. Yeah, man. We're just happy to get back in the gym. Like we had our first on-court stuff yesterday, so it's good, man. It's just exciting time to be back in the gym, So that's it.
Yeah, it's what you've been waiting for a long time. So,
bro, it's gonna kill me because we can't actually play till we can't actually season doesn't start till January. So even though we're gonna go up against some CIS programs and youth sports programs and stuff for exhibition games, but we can't actually start till January. So that's tough. But being in the gym with the guys are hella out of shape right now. But being in the gym with the guys it's a very you can see the light at the end of the tunnel, So that's that.
Mr. McNeilly.
I would just like to shout out my best friend. He's starting out with his training program, Reps to Reality Basketball, RTR basketball. Starting it from the ground up. Been helping me train a lot, so he's been doing some giveaways and working with a lot of kids at Bill Crothers and Northern King. So you guys show him some love. Be greatly appreciated.
Does he have a website?
He doesn't have a website, but I'm pretty sure
it's IG,
Instagram. I think it's
IGF
_RTR _basketball should be popping up. I posted something today on my story, so Adika PM on Instagram. I'll put the link in there, and you guys can take a look.
Yeah, I'll make sure to add it to the bottom of the video so people can go check it out.
For sure.
And as for me, you can follow me at The Senator. Don't forget to check out the Not So Soft podcast. It drops every Friday, featuring myself, Nino Rockwell, Kino the Great, and occasionally Random Task when he has the time to make it for his podcast that he originally was on. Also want to make sure to say thanks once again for coming into this podcast. When we started out, the concept was just to be our group chat turned into a podcast and just have those type of conversations. But being able to expand it and have guests from all different basketball walks of life, I would say, and now we're trying to expand it even more. We've had DJs on, and we're just going to keep building it. We appreciate everyone that comes on, and especially in the early days, because it was different if we were on like episode 50, but we just hit double digits not too long ago. So we appreciate it.
Definitely, man. Appreciate taking the time out, talking with us.
No problem. Appreciate guys. It was fun. It was fun talking, basketball and journey and everything like that. So keep in touch.
Sir.
Yes. And don't forget to follow and subscribe to our YouTube channel, and make sure to follow the Instagram page at @the.chatroompod. And yeah, this has been the Chatroom Podcast, your favorite baller's favorite podcast, and we are out.
Adieu.
Peace.